And welcome back. It's the week of who would win now. We're done with the week of what if. I know a lot of you are going to be very disappointed by that because you love the week of what if, and I love doing them. That's why I do them. But we now have the week of who would win. And just like with any week of who would win, I have two, mind you, of the monthly themed who would wins. Now, just to recap, for those of you who are relatively new, because I know I get a lot of subscribers now between each week of. So, for those of you who aren't aware, I do a monthly themed who would win. I think the first one I ever did was the Captains of Bleach. Then I did the Stern Ritters. I did the Iran card first of Bleach. Then I did the Captains of Bleach. And I did the Stern Ritters of Bleach. And now I moved on to, if you've ever played the card game Magic the Gathering, Planeswalkers of Magic the Gathering. If you're not familiar with what a Planeswalker is, let me just quickly just sum it up in about 10 seconds, starting now. So in the Magic Gathering world, there are individuals known as Planeswalkers who can traverse through the planes of existence, being infinite amounts of them, and they're a very special group of people. There's only like 1 in a million of them. They tend to be a little stronger than your average individual. And we are on to, now, initially I was pretty much done with all my roster of Planeswalkers, save for the big two. The final two with Nico Bolas and Ugin, who are pretty much like the end-all, be-alls in terms of power when you really break it down in the Magic world. Save for maybe a few, but still. But with War of the Spark, the new set, and the novel coming out, which I'm getting tomorrow. My girlfriend ordered it for me because she works at Barnes & Noble, which I'm like, yay! I'm really looking forward to reading this. We did get a couple new... We got specifically four new Planeswalker characters. Now, there was a fifth one who is still around, but I didn't bother to use him because I don't know the full gist of his abilities. Likewise, I should note, I have not used every Planeswalker card or character that has ever existed, simply because some of them, there's no real clear-cut way of illustrating what they're capable of doing as characters, like Domir. If you're not familiar who Domir is, he's a kind of like this punky red, rebel character. But it was never illustrated what he was capable of doing. So Planeswalkers who I can never pinpoint what they are really able to do, I never used in the fight. This one, though, we have a clear-cut answer what she's capable of doing. So the Wanderer, as she's called, the Wanderer in this one is, and the description is such, has long white hair and hides her face behind a Hanukkah hat. She is adept at swordplay and is able to magically absorb kinetic energy and redirect the force through her massive sword. Her massive sword, mind you, seems to take the form of almost like a whip blade. It's very thin, it's very malleable, but she strikes with sufficient force. She's apparently also unique among Planeswalkers because generally when you Planeswalk to a different plane of existence, it tires you out. But she apparently can do it instantaneously after again and again, but because it seems to be something due to the fact that she can do it involuntarily if she's not focusing, so she has to be careful. There's not much else known in her backstory. She's just the new character. She's in War for the Spark, so she's a character capable of absorbing kinetic energy and using it in her swordplay. So when going up against an individual who uses kinetic energy, I immediately thought, let's bring in Sebasitian Shaw from the Marvel Universe. Sebasitian Shaw is a mutant who has the ability of energy absorption. Specifically, he doesn't actually need to absorb kinetic energy. He can absorb any energy, electrical, magic, etc. It's just kinetic works the best, as he puts it. But he has the ability to absorb kinetic energy and metabolize it to enhance his own physical speed, strength, and stamina, durability to some extent as well, and give him a healing factor. This is usually demonstrated that with him just punching a wall in the morning to heighten his abilities to get his overall strength, jacked up. So essentially, you hit him, blunt force trauma is not going to do anything. Blades will cut him, but cuts are generally superficial because he zaps the blade of all its thrusting and cutting capability, usually speaking. He's also adept at letting his enemies not realize his power until they have hit him one or too many times. And in fact, he has a healing factor kind of offsets a lot of damage he would take. He can't heal, though, from things like blasts to the head, like getting his head blasted off, or broken neck. Anything that would be considered lethal, he cannot heal from. He's not Wolverine. He does have a cap-off limit to how much energy he can absorb, though. It's not clear how much he can absorb, but Storm once overloaded his energy reservoirs with lightning at one point, and it was just too much for him. He did also gain a secondary mutation through underwent the Mother Vine enhancement process, giving him a secondary mutation. Interesting. Magneto once described it as basically being able to absorb ambient kinetic energy around him into himself. Basically, he eliminating the need to build up his own stores by request of physical activity. Essentially, he now just absorbs energy from the environment. But his death, he did die in the guy. He is currently dead. He was given a paralytic, which, with no way to release the absorbed energies, overloaded his secondary mutation, resulting in his death. So essentially, it killed him. So he's not invincible because he's susceptible to psychic abilities. He can be either crushed through heavy weight. What was it against? Crushed through heavy, like if like a giant, like 10-ton object was going to fall on him, he could catch it and stop the kinetic energy. But if he's not strong enough to hold the weight, it's going to crush him. The same can be, he can just be thrown out of the battle, just have no kinetic activity around him to be able to more or less absorb anything from him. But the ambient energy kind of absorbs and kind of took that away. At his peak, he's roughly capable of lifting about, they said, 100 times? It was, yeah. If properly energized, he can lift and hold approximately 100 times his own weight, which is around 210 pounds, according to the information I have here. Meaning he can go about 21,000 pounds, which basically is about 20 tons, which is impressive. That's Spider-Man level feats of strength right there. Sebasitian is also quite has skilled intellect and a skilled combatant in terms of hand-to-hand combat, given his style. Like I said, though, he can have his power overloaded and discharged. Overload, or, and he can't discharge it himself without, serious effort. He can be defeated through psychic abilities. And here's the thing, while he can't, while knives and blades will cut him, his ability will generally take a lot of the force out of the blade. You hit him with enough force fast enough, that would hurt him. So how does this fight take place? Well, it's got to take place with the Wanderer winding up in the Marvel Universe, let's say after War of the Spark. I'm not saying whether she lived or died, I'm just saying. She's a new character. I'm going to spoil a little bit. She did live in that one. Just because it's... I'm not going to look up all the characters, obviously, to see if they lived or not. I'll wait to the book to find that out. The cards did, and the trailer told us at least a couple of characters who died, but not everyone else. So I'll wait for the actual book to read if they lived or died. Point being, though, let's say there's something, maybe she even winds up near the Sanctum Sanctorum, and surprisingly, the energy around that kind of permeates her spark, and she doesn't have to, it cures her immediate planeswalking affliction. So she's walking around, maybe she winds up at the Hellfire Club, and, Sebastian Shaw, who, Emma Frost on a mission, is quite the pervert. Finds her interesting. He's like, come, my dear. He's like, would you like a drink? And he tries seducing her. It doesn't work. And he's like, I always get mine. What's mine is mine, and what's yours is mine also, which is a quote from him. And, he tries to overpower her. So the fight begins. Now, she is definitely quicker, at least initially, than he is. But, and he realizes he can't catch her. He's like, I don't deal with, you're not my type. Sorry. And, he's like, all right, you're quick. And then he starts punching the wall, or punching the cement, just do. But given enough time, and then just boom, smashes through it. And she's like, what? And then he comes in again, and immediately actually almost tags her, and she barely gets nicked by it. Like, oh, what the hell's going on here? And it's like, yeah. But, all good things in time, my dear. I could tell you if you just come with me. I could get you, we could get to know each other so much better. Then, yeah, no, screw that. And then she pulls out her blade. Now, Her blade will definitely hit Sebasitian Shaw. But, again, she doesn't know what's going on. However, she can magically absorb kinetic energy, including energy he's probably stored up in him. He stores this energy in him. Now, it gets permeated through his body, but still, the point remains. He throws a punch. She blocks with her blade. It nicks his hand. He's like, ugh. And she then absorbs the force of the punch, just like he does, and then comes in again, slices again, only this time it does create a slightly deeper gash. He's absorbing the kinetic energy, but she's also doing that as well. So she's able to start quickly slicing him up. It's slowly but surely going deeper and deeper with every cut, and Sebasitian Shaw's not dumb. He's realizing, he's like, what the hell's going on? He grabs the blade, and this time it cuts pretty, he's like, gets a good half an inch gash in his hand, just, ugh, and she just pulls it back, ugh. What are you? How are you doing this? How? You shouldn't be able to hurt me. Your cuts should be insignificant. They keep going deeper and deeper. How are you doing this? It's like, wouldn't you like to know? It's like, I'm not only would I will know. And then he, comes and charges at her. And now at this point, he's absorbed a lot of kinetic energy, so she needs to keep her distance. She's trying to basically slice him, but he's also blocking the blades. She can actually fight at a distance, whereas he can't. That's something she has over him, but he's got the durability and strength factor. That's something, as far as we can tell, she doesn't have. So she's throwing the blade at him. He's dodging. Like she's realizing pretty quickly, this is getting ridiculous. I'm normally able to take someone out with a single strike. This guy keeps absorbing all my energy. She's like, it keeps taking these blows. I'm making very little head. It's like he's absorbing my energy, and then she realizes, because of the ability to absorb kinetic energy magically, she can sense it. When she throws another strike out, he blocks it again. Again, makes a nice little gash on him, but he's generally able to slowly recovering from these the longer this fight goes on. He was absorbing kinetic energy as well, and he's doing the exact same thing I am. All right, then. It looks like I'm going to have to do one big one. So she's now... Oh, man, that was a weird one. I just went for no reason at all. Sorry. So she starts walking around. Every step she takes, that's kinetic energy. So she's basically charging all of the energy she can into her blade. As best she can, dodging. She even, curls up the blade and takes a big brunt force strike straight from Shaw. And that's a lot of built-up energy at this point. So she goes flying. She figures she needs to make it happen now. So she goes for that final strike. He comes in, and she goes for that final strike, and he's like, this is futile. I've absorbed too much energy now. You will not be able to. And she just, because of the nature of the blade she has, I feel like it could wrap around something. So she basically kind of gets it around his throat. Not quite like Rat, but kind of like, kind of curves around here a bit, and he's like, or more like maybe just hits his throat, and he's just, and just, normally it probably wouldn't have cut him, or it might have been a very mild cut. But here, with all the energy she gave it was like a solid inch. His windpipe's exposed, his blood's starting to really go, and he just, and his healing factor is not strong enough to keep up with this. So he's doing the best he can to keep his throat closed. This is it. How? And then she just starts walking up again. Every step charges kinetic energy. So she's getting ready for that, just coming up again, because anything you can do, I can do better, honey. I don't know what her personality is like. I'm going to have to read the book. But she comes in again, except this time she hits him in the face a little bit, and that's a little kinetic energy in his favor to maybe strengthen his healing factor up, but he just quickly moves his hand. She capitalizes on that, moves fast, and then has her blade and just kind of makes sure to get it, and the guy's like, and then goes a little farther, and then he just falls down dead. Why did I give it to the Wanderer in this fight? Well, here's the thing. They both absorb kinetic energy, so they'll be trading blows with each other. But she can't metabolize it into her own physical abilities. Shaw can. However, she can fight at a distance. Shaw can't. Add on to the fact that it strengthens her blade the more kinetic energy she has, which means it actually counteracts a bit of Shaw's ability for her durability and stamina. Plus, blades do hurt him. It's just normally they can't strike with enough force to really make it matter. Ultimately, though, with being able to also absorb kinetic energy and basically charge it up to a certain amount, and there's no There's nothing saying that she has a limited amount she can absorb. She could get the blade powerful enough that she could get a solid enough, fast enough, and hard enough strike on a vital spot that it would put Shaw down. The fact that she can fight at a distance means Shaw ultimately wouldn't be able to hurt her very much. But at the same time, it's I could see where someone could easily say Shaw would win because he's probably the more skilled hand-to-hand fighter, and he's also has a lot more experience. He's just physically more powerful than her, probably even without absorbing the energy. He's just really in shape. So ultimately, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Wanderer because her abilities are magic based, and she can fight at a distance with a blade that's charged up. So yeah, I gotta go with the Wanderer, but I'm not gonna go very far. I'm gonna go 60-40. I think Sebastian Shaw could very handily have a win here. I just think the likely scenario more goes to the Wanderer. But what do you think? You think the Wanderer wins or you think Sebastian Shaw wins? Let me know in the comments below, but thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. And ideas for who would win, Star Wars, Super Magic, What If, anything I do on the channel, put that in the comments below as well. I'll get to that at some point. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you folks next time. Later.